So just letting you know. So I'm going to put up the...
So just so you know, Gabe, I have to be somewhere at 12:30, so I do have to be done. I have to be out of here at 12:20 at the latest.
Okay, yeah, we
Okay.
should hopefully be done by
No
then.
sweat.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, all right.
We are live.
We are
On
We are
YouTube.
live on YouTube.
All right.
And then we're going
Hello.
to start. We're going to connect to Facebook, and then we'll be ready to go.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then I got... Oh, Frankie, is the music for her show, is it labeled as her show, or does it have the song have a name?
I think it's Sesame or something on there.
It's
It's not that one.
Oh.
it's walking in
Walk-
the city,
Oh, yeah.
There
right?
you go.
Something
yes,
like that?
Yes, that makes sense. I've seen that at least, so I'll find it.
I always think every week we should just put a name on like Sans.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's usually...
Sans opener.
I'll change
Yeah.
it.
I think we talk about it every week. Yeah, that's
This
it.
one? Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah.
Here we go.
And hey, to anyone who might be joining us, we're just kind of linking up to our last channel here, and we'll be starting the show. But we have a great show today. We'll be talking about negging. We'll be talking...
Do you do that? That's pretty good.
I can hear you guys, so it distracts.
Oh, sorry.
I had this great announcer intro, and I even had the voice going.
Yeah, you had
Let me see if
announcer
I can
voice.
do it again.
Do it again.
Take
What the
two.
hell are we talking about? Yeah, here we go. Hey to anyone who might be joining us. Welcome to the show. We have a great episode of Fun Till It's More on tap today. Genuinely excited for this. We're going to be talking negging. We're going to be talking lessons carried from the past as you re-entered your dating life. We're going to be talking... Well, I'm going to be talking Asian fetish accusations and
Asian.
red flags. Yeah, because I have an expert on that who happens to be on site. So. Let's see.
All
So
right.
yeah, it's going to be great. And then, as what may be different from other weeks is if we'd love you to comment below the video on the NBC Multicast page, and we'll put your comments on screen. And we'd love to hear what you guys think. And we'll be starting in about 30 seconds.
30 seconds.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for
Yeah.
it to connect to
Oh,
Facebook.
Facebook?
Mhm.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, and feel free to just chime in, people, whenever you want.
Yeah,
Okay.
whenever you want.
We take questions, comments.
And we are live on Facebook, so you can share it. I'm just going to connect the chat, and we'll be ready to go.
Oh, we gotta hide it from me. Just kidding.
Hey, Gabe, do you have to be logged in to leave a comment? Somebody asked me that this week.
Well, I mean, the NBC profile is public, so they should be able to Google it and find it, I guess.
But do
I
they
guess
need
I'm
to-
not sure. Yeah, I don't think they'll be able to comment without a Facebook account.
Right, okay. They
I
need to
think.
log into their account, right?
I believe so.
Okay.
But yeah, haven't tried that.
Okay. Yeah, that's kind of what I told them, but I don't really know.
I consider you a rare bird for having friends who don't have Facebook accounts. I'm
she doesn't
No,
have
impressed.
one.
they do. I think they were
Oh.
just trying to figure out.
To be
I don't have
anonymous.
one, but
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't think you can be on Facebook without an account. Really.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
All right, and the chat is connected, so if you comment on the NBC Multicast Facebook page, we'll be able to have you put you on screen. And with that, I turn it over to you.
yeah. So can they comment on the YouTube channel? Do you know?
So yes, they can.
Okay.
I got to connect that, so it just takes me a couple minutes. But yeah,
I just know some
wanna get
people
the
are
show
watching
going.
through YouTube. So.
Okay.
All right. Cool.
Yep, absolutely.
All
So
right.
take it away whenever you're ready.
All right. Hey everyone. Welcome until fun. It's fun until it's more. This is our podcast about dating, online dating, getting back into dating, all kinds of dating. So, welcome. Thanks for joining us. And as Gabe said at the beginning, at any time, if you want to comment, chime in, ask questions, please feel free to do that. We love to hear from you, and sometimes it opens up great topics that we're not talking about otherwise. So, yeah. So, anyways, here's Frankie. She is our guest. I don't know. There you are.
There I am.
There you are.
Here I
so
am.
you guys probably know Frankie. She's been on here a few times. She's also one of the producers. And then we also have Gabe in the back producing and Chris.
Hello.
So yeah.
Hi.
Hi everybody.
Welcome. Good morning.
What are we going to talk
Yeah.
about today? Do you guys have?
Well-
Did you do any dating this week?
Yeah, we're gonna kind of maybe talk about our dating week.
Yeah.
Do
So
you have anything? Frankie?
yeah. Well, kind of. I mean, so I met somebody like 2-3 weeks ago, and
Okay.
I only saw him now I think 3 times total.
Wow.
So yeah. Well, that's not too bad, right? Well, 3 times a 2 weeks. It's not too bad.
Right.
And he's, he has his life together, he's stable, whatever. But it was funny because he comes to like some of my comedy shows or whatever, and we never had a real date yet.
Okay.
So
okay.
he's seen the first time he ever saw me was like I didn't even know who he was. He was just like in the audience.
Okay.
And
so you met him through that?
Yes, I didn't meet him. This was not through online or anything.
Okay. All right.
And well, he came to another show, and then we go to this other mic after the show, and he tagged along with us, and he was like. We were talking like really boring stuff with this other guy. This other guy like popped in, so I'm talking with, and afterwards I looked at him and his face was just like, just not much on his face. I was like, you doing okay? He's like, I was just thinking, if I'm a beta male, like I feel like I'm turning into a beta male. And then I was like, and he's like a really buff big guy, and he doesn't seem like. Even though he's cut, he doesn't seem like an alpha male to me. Like he doesn't seem like the aggressive, like, whatever.
Right.
So anyway, he was just like, man, I just let this conversation go on so long. It was so boring. And he was just like saying how boring this conversation was with someone of a friend.
This other guy?
No, he left.
Oh, okay.
But I just thought that was kind of funny because I was like, oh, you feel like a beta male. I was like, why don't you get on stage and do a little something.
Right.
And so he's like, okay, fine. He took me for the challenge, and he got on stage and he like did some freestyling. It was horrible. Like he's not good at it.
Okay, so is that an alpha move?
Yeah,
even if it's horrible.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
yeah.
right.
Because
right.
he took the challenge even though he was bad at it.
Okay.
So sorry to cut in on this,
No,
but
that's
I
fine.
can relate huge to that actually.
Yeah.
And I've had conversations with other men about this. That with the new era, the Me Too type stuff, like it has put me on the back foot at first. It's like you don't want to be too bold, like in certain situations because you get so socially conditioned that it's like, I don't know,
But
can you not understand that at all, I guess?
no, but I guess the question is, because I do hear about this a lot and stuff that, when a guy writes his profile, he should really show that he's alpha. Is that really what we're looking for? Are we looking for an alpha male? I know that I'm looking for a guy, obviously, to make decisions and things like that.
Action taking,
But
yeah.
I do want him to be also sensitive and be able to talk.
Well,
I mean, I guess the question is, Gabe, are you saying that you don't feel comfortable being not so alpha?
It was much more comfortable being an alpha. Or
right, that's what I'm asking.
Well,
not having to think about every interaction as like okay, you said you like a guy to make decisions, but not like, to me that's very alpha, right?
Yeah, but
decisiveness, not indecisiveness.
Yeah,
And
but
I
not
would
like
be-
take over and make
Not like controlling and psycho.
or
Sure.
he'll order for me, or he'll tell us everything we're doing. It's
Yeah.
like, that's not what I want.
Yeah. Well, I think the key difference is like men, like when we say women, like when women say we want a sensitive man, and men are like, no, you don't. Every time, like you really make no space for me to be sensitive. What we really mean is we want you to be sensitive to other people, have empathy for other people, but we don't want you to be insecure where we can't make fun of you,
Right.
and you're gonna cry about it.
Right.
Like you have to be sensitive for what's happening around your space,
Right.
and care.
Yeah, and I mean,
Yeah.
I want a guy to have feelings. I don't mean be like, just sit there and like not like wait for me to tell you what to do. But
he told me he's like he had this shoulder injury and like he's on this medication to like for it to heal.
Sure.
But ironically, it was an antidepressant to like help it heal.
Sure.
And so he feels like it's like messing with his emotions. And so, but this is what ended up happening was like. So I was like, I thought that was kind of funny to think that like this antidepressant is like affecting his feelings of like the conversation was just about audio engineering. That's all it was about. And he's an engineer himself, but he's not whatever.
Right.
This other guy does audio engineering, so we were just talking about it. And for him to be like just sit there moping at the bar, just like like it was funny to me. So then the next time I saw him, we were at like our mutual friend. We also have a mutual friend. We were at her birthday party, and it was just like. Everyone like it was a crazy party, so like we're all drinking and whatever, and I, at the end of like when I start drinking, I get more flirty, whatever. So I'm actually feeling really good. It's like almost 3 a.m. It's like that kind of party, and I'm like I kept touching his biceps because he has nice biceps. I kept grabbing him.
Uh-huh.
And he got weird.
Like how?
He was just like, oh, he's like, you keep touching me a lot. He's like, you have to earn the right to touch me.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, bye.
Okay. Well, is that an alpha move?
Yeah, that like you're kind of acting a little beta there, buddy.
Is he playing a game though, or is he actually uncomfortable?
I think he was drunk, and I think he was probably said to, like, I don't know what. I haven't talked to him since.
Right.
Like cause then cause I'm
I don't blame you.
right. So like I mean it's 3 a.m. I'm feeling drunk.
Uh-huh.
He was like, all right. After he said that comment, he was like wanting to leave too. Like he's like, I only can stay till 3 anyway or whatever. He's like, I'm too like whatever. But he had no concern about how I was getting home.
Right.
He didn't know like he didn't check on me like and that's at that point I was like,
Yeah.
like that's not very like you're
No.
being sensitive about
Right.
like you're not just going with the flirty
Yeah.
vibe. You're
Yeah.
being weird.
Yeah.
You're acting kind of like you're better than me all of a sudden, which you're not.
Right.
But like
So, yep. Goodbye.
yeah, so that was my
Uh-huh.
like that was a turn off. And then he texted me like the next day and he was like, "Hey, like how late did you stay after I left?" And I'm like you care now. Of course I went to my situationship after that. Like okay. Of course I had my backup on the phone to make sure I got home. Like
Yeah.
that's your loss, buddy.
So, Gabe.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, going
do
back to
you-
this beta stuff.
Yeah. So, do you find have you had different results?
Well, I guess it's not a results. It's like a frustration within the relationship because, and this even goes back to my former marriage. That like when stuff went bad in this new, like I'm trying to be sort of like to grow and be more sensitive to her needs and be asking
Sure.
questions and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
be sensitive for other people. Yeah.
Well, her, yeah, I guess,
Especially the
I mean, in this
person you're
situation,
seeing.
hers, right?
Right,
And I'm
right.
trying to, you know, I guess you're kind of putting yourself at the mercy of the other and being vulnerable, right? And
Right.
like trying to
Right.
be that way. And then feeling this over, when the person reacts to it in a way that's kind of sort of tinged with like, God, stop being a pussy. It's a really like,
favorite
it
line.
makes you really pissed off because it's
Yeah.
like, I'm trying to be,
Yes,
you know.
but you know what? No, I think you have a point. I think that person is not worth your time. I mean, I think why can't you be an alpha male, right? A strong guy
Yeah.
who
decisive
also
feels.
who also wants to know how his partner feels and take care of them.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, you know that.
why are they one or the other?
Yeah, you know what they say, like, if you look at every, like, woman writer ever, and you, like, how she writes male characters, they're nothing like the men in society.
there-
Like, men are creating their own script of what they think, like will impress other men is
Right.
basically the conversation of
Yeah.
like they are trying to portray their masculinity in a way that is going to impress other men,
Right.
and it's not impressive to women.
Well,
And then,
I think they think it is.
yeah,
They think society thinks
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I want a guy who, like, you know, is just going to be, you know, sitting there waiting for me to tell him every move.
Yeah.
I want a strong guy.
Yeah.
You know? But I also know that there are guys who, and they're usually married or dead. You know? But, you know,
okay.
who's strong enough to be able to share with you how he feels about something and
Yeah.
be strong enough to say, how does this make you feel?
Yeah,
You know, and okay,
just very emotionally intelligent and self-aware,
right,
which is
self-aware and
hard.
yes, and emotional intelligence
Yeah.
is huge.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing wrong with saying to somebody. In fact, I think it takes more courage for a guy to actually say, you know what? How does that make you feel? I think I screwed up. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
And or even to say, you know what? When you did that, this is how it made me feel. And I think if somebody can't like thinks you're a pussy because you do that, Gabe, yeah.
And
Yeah.
not that they said it or whatever. It's just that's the overwhelming
Yes.
feeling. And then
Right.
you know, this is my responsibility obviously to adapt and overcome that like initial weird feeling in dating. But, you know, cuz I'm re-entering that
Right.
world too. But I got to admit early on that it did feel like just I don't know, like you're just kind of a little bit like you don't want to do the wrong thing to, and it's so weird to even be there because
Yeah.
that was never something I thought about in
No.
the past, probably to a fault.
No.
I probably should have been thinking
Right.
more, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Right.
No.
No,
So-
and it's true. And I think in the past too, right? When you're dating, it's not dating apps. You meet somebody, so you're already talking to them.
Yeah.
Now it's like, oh, how's that being projected, and how does that sound, and this, that, and the other. But
Yeah.
yeah.
No, that's
I
tough.
know some male comic or a male comic who's younger than me, and I heard this and I laughed so hard it was insane. But it's like, but I think it illustrates that it does affect more people. He asks his girlfriend permission to change positions during sex.
Well, come on.
Yeah, that's just
I
lack
mean,
of confidence.
You don't
That's
need
lack
yes,
of confidence.
That is different.
When
Yeah.
I laughed, he argued back vehemently, and I was a toxic male for that. But I'm just like, I go, dude, there's someone who's gonna like
Yeah.
fuck your girlfriend in a bathroom because she's so tired of like
Wow.
that much passiveness. But
Wow.
I don't know.
So-
and hey, we should shout out Colleen Foley saying hi
Yeah.
from Facebook.
Hi,
So hi,
Colleen.
Colleen. We'd love to hear you to weigh in when you can.
Yeah,
But,
glad you were on.
Yeah.
So okay, so he thought that he wasn't complaining about that so much as just saying that was like a considerate thing he does.
He thought that's the new way.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, and you know
But-
what? Some people
yeah.
might be into it.
But that can be still a lack of
Yeah.
confidence
It's-
because it's just like you're overthinking.
Yeah.
You're overly concerned. Where it's
Yeah.
like, you know,
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I think
over.
I mean, when you're in the-
overcorrecting
when
the problem.
you're in the heat of it, you know,
you get animalistic.
Yeah, let's not,
Yeah.
you know, say, "Hey, can I do this?
Yeah.
Can I do that?" I mean, that's like it's too much time.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
And you know, oh my gosh. Well, I just watched this video where it was like, you know, how to be a good lover, right?
Uh-huh.
It was like basically saying you ask them before, like
Right.
your partner before a conversation, you ask them, how do you want to feel?
Right.
Do you want to feel worshipped? Do you want to feel dominated? Do you want to feel
Really?
surrender? Do you want, like, basically,
Huh.
yeah, like you ask them the feeling they want to feel, and then you learn how to make them feel that feeling.
Oh, interesting.
Like,
Huh.
yeah. So like, I thought that's very interesting because obviously that's not like in the heat of the moment. They're like, how do you want to feel? Like that's a conversation you
Right.
have with someone like you know
Right.
whoever.
Right.
But or you could just like try to psychologically. I mean, if it's just a hookup, you could try to figure out your angle here. You know, in the moment, you're like, well, let's go for domination.
Yeah, I don't
But
know.
it's do you want to feel masculine? Do you want to feel feminine? Like whatever
But don't
it
you
is.
think that's also like in that moment? I
Yeah.
mean, don't you sometimes want to feel all of that? But
Yeah.
it's just maybe not now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, you know.
Yeah, it
I
can be
don't know.
both.
We got a question coming through from Chris Sealing. Says, how do you define a masculine man? Like, you know, what do you guys, what behaviors do you want to see? Where do you want to see him be masculine? Where do you not? Or where do they
yeah.
overstep?
Yeah, so I guess like for me, like I like a man who's very comfortable in his masculinity to where he can embody, like to me the most masculine man is comfortable with his feminine side. So like it's
Okay.
a weird kind of sounds contradicting itself, but like to me a masculine man yeah, I think the main thing about masculinity is like decision making.
Yeah. Yeah, I
think.
I want a
Yeah.
guy who knows who he is.
Yeah.
Who's perfectly comfortable
In his
with
own
who
skin,
he is,
yeah.
and doesn't apologize for it,
Yeah.
or he overcompensates
Yeah, he doesn't
because of his insecurities,
Yeah.
and becomes, you know, more macho man, where
Yeah.
he's like dictating to you what
Yeah.
you should do and how you should look and this, that, and the other.
Yeah. And you can just like, you know, poke them in the booty hole and they won't be mad.
Yeah,
You know,
This
who
is the
can
most
just laugh.
confusing fucking answers any people
No,
could give.
but then who can also, like I said, it
But they're
just gets-
so comfortable with themselves, they don't feel like
Yeah, and
threatened by
you
this.
can make jokes, and
Yeah.
they're okay with it.
They're not insecure.
No, and that's that's normal. I don't think that's a big deal. But I'm saying you like don't apologize, and don't.
No, don't apologize. I mean, we're
Be-
talking about good guys,
Be
right?
in touch with your feminine side.
Yes, that is very masculine to me because
Yes.
they're able to embody their whole self. So because everybody has a feminine masculine side, like every human like embodies that energy in some capacity, whether it's a small percentage versus a large percentage. They all like wherever you are in the spectrum of that, like you embody that. So it's like if they're so in tune with themselves,
Yeah. They don't have a problem talking, and
they don't
a
have
lot-
a problem expressing that side.
Yes,
of them.
and a lot of it is like they're able to, be this person who, comfortable with who they are.
Yep.
They, let's say physically, they like their sports, they like this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
They like hanging out with their guy friends, but they're also really good with like talking to you.
Well,
And using words.
if they can make a woman feel safe emotionally, that's masculine.
Yes.
They can hold that emotional
But
space.
but I think Chris's thing is, how does that happen, right?
Yeah.
And I'm just saying, it's like they have to be able to talk to you about, and I need to know that I can talk to them.
Yes, that's huge.
Because if I feel like, God, if I bring this up, he's going to get mad.
Yes. That's so
Well,
annoying.
then that just...
Because then they take everything personal, and they can't handle like any. They can't hold your emotions without judging them, or
Right.
like trying to fix them,
Or
criticize them.
Or think it's about them.
Yeah,
It's like,
they
no.
take it
It's like,
everything
it's
personal.
not about you. I'm just telling you this is how I feel.
Yeah.
When you do that.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean you're a bad person. You
Yeah.
just did something that I didn't like.
Yeah.
And this is how I feel about it. And I could be irrational about how I feel because of whatever triggers that. But
Yeah.
I'm just saying that
You hold space emotionally.
yeah, and it's
Yeah.
just good to be able to say it and then talk it out amongst the two of you.
Yeah.
And sometimes, a lot of times, that doesn't happen. Does that help you, Gabe?
And I think masculine men have boundaries too. Like-
yes.
Yes.
They have to have boundaries.
Yeah, they're not like always available to you every second.
Or will do anything you want them to
yeah,
do.
yeah.
know.
Yeah, you can't.
Yeah.
You ever test
can't,
them?
Yeah.
Do you?
Well, that's
I can't be able to run all over you. It's not attractive.
well, it's not attractive that you try to run all over.
It's
me.
not. It's just my personality. Like I have a strong personality, so like if my personality can easily take over, the situations in the rooms and things like that, then if you can't like challenge me in a way that's
Right.
not obviously toxic,
Doesn't
but
sound like a
not in a
like-
toxic way,
No.
but just like
Okay.
like in a
Well, what about so to me, is that game playing?
no.
I mean, to me it is, because you are behaving in a way that you actually want the person to act a certain way to be approved. Why not
What do you
just
mean?
Well, because you're saying don't let me run all over you.
Yeah, I mean,
But-
it's not like intentionally I'm manipulating them, but I'm saying my personality can be strong enough to where like if I'm texting or calling and they're just every request or everything I say is like
Yeah.
it's a dance.
Yeah, what she's
I do
saying is that
understand,
she
like, I
wants
mean-
him to be able to have boundaries.
He
and
wants
say,
to- yeah.
You know what, Frankie? I really appreciate you. I
Mm-hmm.
really like you, and I'm willing to do a lot of this. But this I'm not going to do.
Yeah.
And you can't just text
You-
me and expect me to do something within 15
You
minutes.
want them to have a strong sense of self,
Right.
because I know that, like, I know how much I give. Like, I know myself. I'm more of a feeler,
Right.
and like so, like I will want to keep creating feelings of whatever I want in the time, and like, I feel like I have more of a strong sense of
Right.
myself too. But I just know that and also I'm accommodating people pleaser. So like, if they're always hitting me up too on the reverse, I will start I know myself. I'll start like maybe giving up my own boundaries to like accommodate
Yeah.
them. So like I know I just need someone with a strong sense of self that will create boundaries
Right.
that I'm already trying to create, but I know I'm weak and I will
Right.
give up.
And-
Whatever.
And Frankie isn't saying she's like texting him all the time,
Yeah.
asking for these things to test him so
Yeah,
much. As,
no, yeah,
this
yeah.
is just who she is. And so she would like a guy who actually, if he doesn't want to do it, to actually say that.
Yeah, I don't like guys not speaking up for their own needs.
Yes.
Or not even understanding what their needs are to speak on them. Like they have to be self-aware enough to know like
And yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes actually you can find that in just when you're meeting somebody online, because then you're texting some, and
You
then
can
all of a
figure
sudden
out how they are, yeah.
They'll start talking because you'll mention something and they're like, oh yeah, I really love doing that, and then pretty soon, either somewhere along the texting in a few days, or when you finally meet them and you say something, you realize this person has done this once.
yeah.
And they have known nothing about it, and they just went along because you liked it.
yeah.
Right? And so
Right.
that's the kind of stuff that, you know what? Eventually, right? If you're with this person, you're going to find out. So you're better off just, and
Well,
that's
that's
a
a little
mild
yeah,
thing.
yeah, yeah,
that's
that's real.
very mild. But that's kind of
Or they just keep putting the ball in your court on everything.
Right.
Like that's annoying. Like they're like you want to
sure.
you want to go pick a date. Like they're like, oh, I hate when the guys do that. Like, oh, what do you want? What do you want?
That's a different thing. That's
Yeah.
just guys never like. Okay, Gabe, do you plan dates? Because
Yes.
honestly, that is one of the most annoying things. It's like,
Hold
okay,
on, plan them? What do you mean
if
by
you
that?
ask me out, can you just
Tell-
I mean, I get the first time, maybe first couple of times, like, well, where would you like to go? But you know what? Somebody plan something sometimes.
I'll say this, and this might be something that I'm not doing well, is that so I will always have an idea to put
Yeah.
forward, but I think that sometimes it's possible that I do suffer from being like passive in terms of like, hey, I want to do this, but if you want to do another thing, I genuinely don't give a shit unless it's something I really want to do.
And that's
I think
okay.
that's fine.
And it's,
Yeah, that's
yeah,
fine.
That's
I don't know.
okay. But I'm just talking about, have you ever gone, hey, let's hang out Saturday, and then, say,
Saturday comes along.
I'm thinking, let's go, let's drive a couple hours, hike in the woods, have a picnic, Do you ever do that? Or are you just like, come Saturday, well, what do you want to do? It's like,
I'd say I do
feel
what
like
you want to do too much,
Yeah.
probably,
guys
but
hardly ever plan anything.
I think that comes all back to the whole decisive, like, action taking.
Right.
That's what's masculine. That's what's attractive.
it just drives me nuts.
That's what women want to see on the apps, because like already with the apps, it's already so unnatural to like create. Like it's already an exhausting process, and I'm sure guys are exhausted too,
right.
in their own way, in a lot of different ways. But like, to like plan dates with a stranger, that's a hard thing to do on an app.
Okay,
When
so let's talk about what are the things you like to do when you do your meet and greets. And that's what I call the first time you kind of meet up with somebody, right? So what do you guys, I mean, I'm not going to lie, and this is boring, but really my default is like, let's go meet for coffee or a drink.
That's perfect to me.
But
Because
Gabe-
there's a quick exit plan.
Right. But Gabe, I think, I don't think you were too thrilled about that when I mentioned that.
like midday coffee? No.
But here's the thing. I think your words were like, I think I'd kill myself.
Well,
That sounds
Have
dramatic.
coffee with
The whole
somebody.
thing is like it's we've talked a little bit about this before, but maybe not fully. But I think you have a much better attitude. Like you have the right attitude for this current dating landscape, which is
He's jaded and bitter.
Okay, but wait. Let me
No.
just ask you, what would you like to do for the first meet and greet?
I would rather probably text with someone a little bit first,
Right.
have a sense that I like them,
Right.
and then meet for like. So generally, what I like to do is maybe like something that involves a little alcohol and something that involves like an activity. So let's say fucking bowling, or there's those
Okay.
video game places, or like something where you don't have to be focused completely on the person, I guess.
Yeah.
Or go join Scientology.
Yeah. Well, actually, Scientology building tours are kind of fun.
Yeah.
I don't
You
know.
You go there,
Yeah.
you like look at their little questionnaire, which is like extensive. But
Yeah.
but my thing is, I want a quick exit if I need it.
And you know what's great is because like I don't always want to commit to an activity with them, because like what if like I
don't wanna bowl with you.
Yeah, I don't want to sit here and do bowling. Yeah, well, that's a lot of work and energy. So like what is kind of nice was, I don't know if they have this in Minnesota, but like when I was living in Texas, they had a place called like socials,
yes, there is.
where they had like this main bar restaurant,
And then you can bowl.
and then
do
there's
this.
so many different
Right.
board
Activities.
games, cards, where it's like, okay, let's play a quick card game or
Right.
something. Where it's like, instead of committing
Oh, yeah.
to,
Because bowling's too tiring.
No.
Yes.
No.
when you're with someone you don't want to be around, it's a complete, like, I can't hide. It takes so much energy out of my body when I'm around someone I don't want to be around.
No.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
not. It's not
No,
that
I'm
it's
with you
more.
there.
It's more that it takes a lot of time to bowl a game.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
I feel like you guys are digging in on bowling here. I was
No,
just using that as an
no,
example.
I'm just saying anything.
But yeah.
It's the same as dinner. That's a commitment.
Oh, I agree.
You know,
and
I
wouldn't-
think-
that's why to me it's like whatever, a video
Right.
game place or just something so you're not facing each other and having to like I don't
Carry
know
the
to
conversation.
completely yeah, it's not a confrontation.
Because I
No,
feel
carry
like,
the conversation.
You're just
No,
kind of
confrontation.
meeting them so you can see like, oh yeah, I think I might go out with this guy again, and then you go from there. So,
Yeah.
so Gabe's question.
Yeah.
Is there a chance guys don't want to spend money on a girl that may not like them, so the first dates are boring?
More like
You know what? I think that guys either are going to spend money on you or not.
the poor dudes are worried about that.
Regardless of boring or not. Okay? I think that a guy, I don't think they were thinking it's going to be boring or not boring, so I'm going to spend money. It's whether they just are someone who's going to buy you your coffee or not.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, coffee is one thing. I guess, what we're kind of thinking is, whatever, to be exciting or interesting, you can...
No, I'm telling you, there are guys who won't even buy your coffee.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
my point. I don't
There's some
think it has
poor
to
dude.
do-
There's some real dusty poor guys out there.
Who are still
Yeah.
going on dates.
Yeah. They seriously.
It does amaze. Are you guys, like, what percentage of guys would you say do pay for the first date with you? Because if you go on Tinder, I was surprised to see that they, like, urges, at least me as a guy, like, not to do that on the first date.
Really?
Yeah,
Why?
because
What
I
do they
think
say?
it's like a leverage thing, maybe.
Are
I don't
you
know.
kidding me?
No, I'm not at all.
So Tinder gives you that tip?
They actually are pretty forceful about it.
What?
Wow.
That they want you to go Dutch, that it's like a mutual respect thing. They also have in the same thing, like,
Yeah.
you cannot offer them rides the first date.
Oh,
you cannot, like,
no,
all that stuff.
you
which
shouldn't
I
do
get.
that.
Yes, more
But
safety.
you know what? My friends always say that too. It's like, well, son, do you think it's because, equality and he didn't want to make you feel like, he's just taking over? And I said, no, you know what? Most guys, I would say to me, and not all, but most, would say, may I buy your coffee for you? May I buy your drink? May I get this on the first date? So that makes you feel like, okay, he's not just going to like, oh, I'm the man, so I'm going to, but it's courtesy, like, oh, I would like to get this for you. Are you okay with that?
Yeah.
And that's fair.
So, I don't know if I've told you guys this story, but when I bought beers for a bunch of young comics, and a young female comic walked up right as I was handing them their beers. And I go, and I look at her, and I say, oh, I just felt, whatever, like oddly obligated in some way. And I'm like, do you want one too? And she goes, yeah, sure. And she was all, so I'm like, okay, I'll buy you a beer. It's, $3. And so I'm standing at the bar. I'm looking ahead. I'm not even looking at her, right? And the bartender sets down the beer, and she said, thank you. So I looked at her, and then she starts to drink. She pulls it back away from her lips and goes, but I'm not going to do anything for this.
Wow.
And I was like actually offended. Like I was full on, not
should be
just because she was
offended.
not attractive.
No,
but,
you should be offended.
Yeah, no, I was. I was like, that was bullshit. Like,
Right.
but that's the climate. That's why some guys are fucked up out there because it's
because I mean,
little
there's that just happens to be like a reaction to obviously her personal experience as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
Because obviously, there's a lot of men out there who are entitled to like
Yes.
once they buy you, and there's a lot of girls, and
Which is why
I've
Tinder
I've
probably
finessed
has
drinks for fun before, you just. Like I'm purposely not gonna spend a single thing and see how much free drinks I can get. Like I've definitely played that game before
I've done
too.
it at gay bars.
And so it is like a, obviously it's a two-way situation where guys feel jaded because girls have taken advantage of like not even giving them time of the day to talk. I mean, whatever. They don't owe them anything anyway, but like they feel a type of way like if you're not going to even at least like treat them like a human. And then, but then there's super weirdos that are like, no, like I'm not putting money unless I'm getting something. Like it's very transactional.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
and I think there's just there's everybody out there, and you just gotta use your judgment, and if it doesn't feel good, then it's like okay, it's nice meeting you, and we move on.
Yeah, well, I did actually meet. I forgot about this story, but like I did actually meet somebody maybe couple weeks ago, but he it was like in the moment, in person, spontaneous stuff. And he did buy me pizza, and then so I'm like, okay, happy he paid for pizza. That's nice, whatever. And then he went to go buy his own drink, a $3 beer, and his card got declined. And I was very like, why did you get? That's a little embarrassing. Your card got, like, is it the wrong card? He didn't have any explanation.
What? Okay, but did you pick up his beer for him?
I ended up, but I was like annoyed.
Well, you never know.
And I was like, I'm like, now it's like, are you broke? Are you broke?
That's I think a different topic too for another day, because there is something for that. Because I don't ever I'm not looking for someone to just always pay for everything for me.
But you don't want somebody who can't support themselves.
That's the problem. And I've been in that place because, okay, I like creative people.
Yes.
And creative people usually are, not financially secure all the time.
Yeah.
And it's challenging. But the thing is, it's like, I just want to meet somebody so that I can, who does, who is, has a job and has enough money to go out sometimes, have coffee sometimes, go to the movies, and and sometimes that's hard, right?
Yeah.
And I always want to say it sounds so mercenary, but it isn't. I mean, I don't look at it that way. It's like, no, I'm not expecting you to support me. I can support myself, but I don't want to support you either.
Yeah.
100%. And I think life is ebb and flow, and sometimes you might have to support somebody, and sometimes they support you. But I'm just saying in general, right? And I do think that that's a thing on the apps. I think that it is a thing for guys. From what I hear, and like I say, I don't know. This is just hearsay, right, from their side. Is I think a lot of guys do feel like women are looking for somebody to just pay for everything. So I can understand why that's a turnoff for them.
And then women are tired of dealing with broke men.
Right.
Then they want somebody. There might be more clear, like, no, I want this.
Yeah, and when you say you want money, it doesn't mean you just don't want to support them.
Yeah.
But I will also say
you want someone that's a giver as well, that will like take you on trips and not care.
Right. But then these men who do have the money, they've been like so many times women wanting them to support them that they're bitter about it.
Yeah.
So it's like a weird
There's so much
thing.
bitterness. Both ends of the dating game, there's so much bitterness.
Right. And then I think I've talked about this a little bit. It's like, also, I think men always say they want confident women.
Yeah.
And a lot of times confident
challenges their
means, to them, I think it means really, you don't want so much someone who's confident. You want someone who is financially secure and isn't going to take your money. I think that's a lot of times, because sometimes I feel like that's difficult. Like, they meet me and I am confident.
Yeah.
And I do know I'm very secure in who I am. And I say that knowing that obviously I have things I work on too.
Yeah.
I totally know that. But I'm secure in who I am. And I'm confident and I can make decisions. And I am financially secure. And that's hard for some guys too.
Yeah.
It's like, then it becomes like, okay.
Yeah.
So that's really not what you wanted.
This makes me think a little bit about like the whole concept of negging.
Okay, I don't even know what that is.
So with sometimes women are confident, right? And like a guy can see their confidence and they want to like insult them, like backhand compliment them a lot.
Wait. So negging is like a dating term?
Yeah, I would say. I mean, it's
not nagging at home, like the wife is nagging.
No.
Right.
Negging's like when somebody, like usually a man will like put down a woman like backhandedly, like jokingly or whatever kind of ways to kind of make them like them more.
Okay, so give me an example.
Can I give you an example?
Sure.
No, I'm totally joking, but it'd be like it's just little comments like, I usually like girls with a little bit chestier than you, but whatever. Like they just that's not a great one, but things like that.
Yeah.
Okay, because why? Why? Because they don't want to go out with this person anymore?
It's
no, they like them a lot.
They like them, but they're like.
Oh, because they're
kind of they're kind of putting them down a little bit in maybe
knock them down a peg.
Somewhat
so they
playful
feel better.
way. So they feel better, like their confidence. And I learned that I kind of fall for that.
It's actually deeper than that.
Yeah, so I'm like, I just kind of was like, oh my God, this guy's negging me. And I'm like, this is why, I'm like, because I don't believe that, I was like, I don't believe that he, like, I'm like, I know he likes me, but he acts like he doesn't. And I was like, I think you like me. But you say things, obviously, that contradict your behavior. But I'm like, no, you do like me. You're just negging me.
She's not alone. Most women fall for that.
Wait, so you're saying that you really like me, but because you feel like I'm too good for you, you're gonna put me down a little bit, so that we're more equal.
Yeah, or
that I like you more because you're making me feel bad.
I don't know if it's like a very like conscious thing. Like I think
it is conscious.
Is it, or is it subconscious?
Yes.
It's gotta be conscious.
Well, like it could be.
It's really simple though. It's how guys especially if you're insecure around the woman or she's really beautiful, you have to take some high ground back. So insecure guys will do that. It's a way to put yourself above her. Or
Okay,
like at least
can
to
I
show
just say
your
something?
value.
Is it always because she's beautiful? I mean, physically,
Yeah.
or it's just that she's
It's
really
just
cool.
it's a control mechanism.
Okay.
And it not only does it work, one of the worst things that I've had, as you come into
Have
a
you
new
done it?
life dating, when I was young, when I was like, whatever, 18, 19, you're learning how to date. Absolutely. Like, and I'm not saying it comes as some insidious, like, I'm going to do this thing and it's going to, work.
Yeah.
It's like it's something that just sort of, maybe it happens because I was insecure and, at that age.
Right.
And then you just notice it work. I mean,
Well, okay.
the word starts to circulate. We all hear assholes do well with women, right?
Okay, wait. So you're saying this to a woman? Okay, so when you say you fall for it, so then what you start thinking?
They
Maybe
almost all do.
maybe I should
I don't
wear
say
a
that.
push-up
I
bra to make myself not look bigger.
Because I mean, I think it works for women who might have who are maybe similar in the sense of like they want more unavailable men, like emotionally unavailable men. So like when they see that like you're not necessarily like my first pick, and you're like, wait, what? Why am I not your first pick?
Oh, okay. So is
Even-
it kind of like hard to get?
Even making her feel dumb.
Yeah.
Or like, that I'm smarter,
smart,
more
yeah.
financially secure.
Yeah.
It's you're
Funnier.
stacking up her negatives over her positives. So I'm not going to build her up. I'm going to
Tear her
make her
down.
aware
Yeah.
of that, hey, you're not exactly, the greatest thing either. It's not like you're just trying
Okay.
to decimate her. You're
Right.
trying to just kind of like, hey, don't forget.
I'm better than you, kind of thing.
You're not perfect either, right?
Yes, and like I realized it. Like I had a guy tell me
That
like,
sounds horrible.
yeah, he's like, has told me multiple different times, different ways, but he'll be like, basically be like, well, I'm not telling you because your ego's too big already.
Yep. Great one.
Yeah.
And also, son, you are susceptible to it, and it's working on you, and I know it for a fact because every week you comment about how guys ghost you, and it bothers you, right? That is the number one negging thing that we do is I was insecure about it as I've re-entered dating because I'm trying to be so honest and straightforward. And as part of that, you are more available and less interesting. And every guy knows that all I have to do if I want to be in a woman's head or more mysterious, I'm just not going to respond to her text for 6 hours.
Oh, you know what? They're done. Actually, first of all, the ghosting thing, like.
Well, that's not ghosting though. We stay.
I don't.
Breadcrumbing.
I don't do
breadcrumbing.
There you go. I've never heard that, but yes.
Breadcrumbing, I don't do. I'm just like, done.
I don't think negging works for every woman. Like I think maybe us like women like who have had because I feel like we all have our own code that we're trying to crack in our dating patterns. So I feel like women who have the dating patterns of dating emotionally unavailable men, things like that, they are more likely to fall into. I feel like people who are more securely attached to their dating partners and not like the anxious or avoidant attachment, whatever, they're not going to fall for it as much.
Yeah. Because here's the thing. This brings up. Probably. I think women do nagging too. Of course.
Yeah.
How?
Of course.
Well, I mean,
how does it manifest
Wouldn't it be
itself,
the
do you think?
same?
I
guess
bully.
I don't know.
I'm bully men.
Yeah, wouldn't be like, I mean, wouldn't you say something like, your hair is like, I don't see as much hair over here. It's something. I mean,
but is that
Don't see
flirting?
as much hair over here.
Isn't that
Just
flirting?
fascinating.
I don't know.
Yeah.
You're balding over there, buddy. I mean, some of my past connections, I like to like banter, like I like to pick on each other. So like to me, it's tough. I think that's why I'm more like a sucker for it, is because I equally bully them for fun.
That's like, when you're like in grade school and you like someone, so you're like mean to her, that kind of thing. And it's one thing when you're both doing it,
and
it's
like
another
playful.
when the guy is saying, I mean,
and
you go away feeling bad.
Yeah, you're right.
Right?
Yeah, you're right.
And
You're right. It's not
right?
like intentionally
Because-
making them feel bad. You know they can handle it, so it's just joking.
Because they're coming back with you.
Yeah.
But I'd say,
But if you're nagging,
you kind of want them to feel bad, and like you kind of are taking a confident woman and making her feel insecure or like second guess herself and not feel good about herself.
And it sounds like the recipient of nagging is not fighting back. So therefore, there's that power thing.
What if a version of women's nagging is fixing men?
Oh,
Because they kind of start controlling the man, right? They make them feel.
Is that nagging though?
But yeah, I don't know.
I don't think that's nagging.
Maybe women don't nag. Maybe we're perfect.
No, I think women nag.
This is.
I think everybody. I mean, if nagging is a thing, I think people do that.
Oh wait. Oh yeah. Here I pulled up the exact definition.
Okay.
So it's an insult or an undermine someone. So it didn't say just women. In the belief that diminishes self-confidence that will make them more receptive to sexual advances.
Oh.
His seduction technique seems to nag her into submission, is what the example.
So I think it's exactly what you said. You're making them feel like you're not that hot.
Do
and
women
you're
do that
lucky.
for sex though? Like
Yes.
for sexual
No.
advancement?
I don't think.
Yes.
They don't need to nag a man to have sex.
I don't think so.
okay,
No,
okay,
wait.
yes.
I don't think it's so
Yes.
much sex,
I got
but
you.
maybe they want them to go out
Commit
with
to
them.
commit. Because women's yeah.
And I think sex, commitment, two different types.
Yeah.
For men, it's sex. For women, it's commitment.
Yeah, but women do use sex to get commitment.
Yes.
So-
So that's for sure. But
But they don't need to do nagging to get them to have sex. They could just go right to the sex part.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, I would say because
Like we
of
solve mysteries.
traditional gender roles, negging for women toward men is not as effective because it can cause a guy to get defensive, overreact, or shut down more likely. You know what
But
I mean?
that's a knock in
Because
their
it's
self.
emasculating.
Yeah, I
or
like to
whatever.
emasculate men for fun, but like
Sure.
Frankie.
But not like just I don't know. I mean, not like
you nagging?
not like people I'm
So you
dating.
really care about money.
Just
and you
strangers that
like,
deserve
write
it.
this down.
I like to do it for men that deserve it.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Okay, so let's kind of get back to what. Okay, so
I like
Gabe
men.
brought up something about ghosting, and then we were talking about breadcrumbing.
Yeah.
Okay, one of my questions: how often do you keep guys on your profile, and
Too
do
much.
you reply when they haven't when they come back to you after a time? Because honestly, I
Oh my god,
I've
I'm
had
so
this-
embarrassed. Actually, just made me think of something. Go
No,
ahead, though.
because I have said to guys, you know what? Because sometimes I don't have time to, whatever. I don't go back in there to delete whatever. And I'd be like,
No.
I haven't heard from you in a few days, so I don't think there's anything going on here.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah.
And so, because I'm like, no, if you're not interested in me, that's okay.
Yeah.
But it's like you say, sometimes it's like, oh, they went out and really their first pick didn't work out, so they're coming back to you and
Yeah.
and I guess it also depends on what you want. But
Yeah.
if I'm really interested in that person for a relationship, I'm just like,
Yeah,
we're
well, yeah.
done.
If you have feelings at that point, like if you have feelings for that person or you care, like you're really interested, then it's not worth it.
Right.
But I will say that I definitely keep too many doors open. Not just because it's like whatever. I don't know. It's not like
So
I'm not invested in those doors open. I'm just like whatever happens,
okay.
happens. Like I don't really care. But what actually made me think of was I met this guy in Atlanta in December or January or something.
okay.
And we hit it off. We had like the greatest one night stand ever. And it was like so much fun. And he lived actually in Las Vegas and he was just in Atlanta for that night or whatever. And so we had a great time, whatever. Well, then he was like immediately like, well, I thought it was just gonna be whatever, just a hookup, but like he was like, oh, I really want to like fly you out
I know this
to
guy.
Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I think he like low-key had a wife and stuff like that. Well, anyway, so then like, well, he was going through a divorce or breakup,
Yeah.
or he has a kid
Yeah.
too. It's whatever.
I'm sure he had good reasons.
Yeah, I'm sure it's fine. So we decided like, oh, we're talking a little bit, but he ended up ghosting me basically. And then he like blocked me on Instagram and things like that. So I was like, oh, he's hiding something, right? We popped up out of nowhere last week, out of nowhere, and I was like,
Texted you?
yes. And I was like,
What did he say?
he was like, what did he say? I think he was just like, oh, hey, how are things going or something? And I was like, oh, look who came back from the dead, is what I said. And I wasn't gonna respond, but then I was like, whatever. I'm kind of. Then he like was trying to fly me out that weekend to Florida, Orlando, and I was like, I was having a moral crisis because I was like,
She
Sounds
does.
It's
like
winter.
you got
Her doors
you on the hook.
open.
it's winter in Minnesota. It's winter. I'm cold. Like this is a
Yeah.
free like a weekend trip. Should I do it even though you might be a scumbag? Is that my problem? And I contemplated it.
Oh, right.
This has been a marvelous look inside your head. What?
And
No, it didn't happen.
you go?
He ghosted me again. Well, kind of. Well, no.
did you
But
say
you'll go next
yes and
time.
then he
No,
ghosted
well,
you?
I called him because I was like, well, we need to just. Are you with your wife or girl or whatever? We're like, why? Like, what? He's like, well, the thing is, why I ghost? And I think he nagged me here.
Oh.
Because he said, you were just doing too much. It was, I've been single. And I was like, what do you mean I've been doing too much? Like, I looked back at my messages. It's like, what do you mean I was doing too much? I didn't even do anything. Like, we were just talking about planning a
And
trip.
he says he's single. That's not right.
So he's kind of like, I think that's when he nagged me. And I was like, then I started to get in my head, like, am I too much? Like, damn it. Am I?
He's a master.
No.
Yeah, and I was like, did I do too much? And I was like psychoanalyzing every text message. And then he was like, well, he's like, I think it'll be fun. He's like, I just want someone like to travel with and do fun things. Like basically offering a friendship. And I was like, oh, cool, yeah, we could be each other's wingman. Kind of like laying out,
Yeah,
like buy
okay.
my ticket, but I'm not sleeping with you. And then, but then he's like, well, if I'm gonna buy your ticket, then I want it to be. I really want us to kick it for the weekend, like implying.
Sure.
That's
Sure.
my moral dilemma because I could play dumb. Like I could
Right.
get there, and I was due for my Mother Nature that weekend, so like this could be perfect. I could perfectly be like, oh crap,
That never
sorry.
stops them.
Well, it does stop some. I'm very disappointed of the ones that stop.
Yeah, I was gonna say they're the weak.
The weak
Yeah,
of the men, the least masculine men.
absolutely. Well, let me ask this then. So, just on this note, because I'm hearing, typically, as I hear from all women, totally mixed bag shit all over the place.
Yeah.
But I'm
you.
joking.
For me,
But
I'm all over. That's
well,
true.
hold on, son. You're in this too.
Come on.
because,
Yeah, sure. All
because
right,
when
bring
we
it to me
talked
too.
about-
Bring it.
When we talked about negging, you said basically you don't play that shit. Blah blah blah. He's out of there. And then you said if he hasn't called for a date, which that's not what negging. That would be clumsy, shitty negging.
No, I know.
So
I don't
have you
think
ever
that's
broke up
negging.
with a guy for being too boring
Oh,
and too available?
it's
Too
more-
available and
no,
boring?
It's more that I just don't go. I don't see him again after the first meet and greet. I don't really go out with guys unless I have fun with them.
Unless they respond within an hour, 20
No,
minutes.
I don't even mean the response. I'm just talking about guys who you're texting for a while and then you don't hear from them for a few. I'm just like,
Well,
I'm
Like,
done with that.
what-
maybe
what
they're not
is-
showing any kind of consistent behavior. Like, it doesn't mean that they have to text you every day, but they're not being consistent with how they communicate. So, like,
Yeah.
if they say, oh, yeah, I'll hit you up tomorrow, but then they never hit you up, they're like, okay, why don't you said you were going to do something, just do it. But if they're like, hey, yeah, I'll hit you up, later next week, I'm really busy,
Yeah.
but they're consistent about their communication, that's like more of a green flag of consistency.
And I totally know that I do this online thing differently than a lot of people but I'm just really I just don't have time. I'm just like, I kind of know what I want and
that's 3 dates a night.
And it doesn't it doesn't mean that I expect every whatever, but I'm just saying if you can't put time and energy into into talking even, then what's the point? Unless they're really hot and all I want is sex, that's
Yeah.
a different thing.
And that's,
Yeah.
I guess, my only point is that, like, someone who's good at negging, they're not, like, pushing you that far.
Right.
They're sensing it the whole time, and they're just kind of doing this. Like, truly, it was a concern I had because, whatever, if you can do it, it fucking works. It's always worked. It will always work because you're not doing it like in a really corrosive way. It's just that. Hey,
Subtle little backhand
things to
comments.
keep in their brain, right? And those little comments, not big insults, just little things to keep them on the edge. And it's bullshit behavior. It's fuckboy behavior. But let's face it, there's a ton of guys who did it. And to where when I made the decision to not do that shit anymore, I had a real concern at one point where I'm like, am I just being too fucking easy and too boring now? Because I feel that way.
Oh.
You know
so,
what
like,
I mean?
you unlearning how to nag made you feel boring.
Me not negging. Me not.
Well,
Yeah,
and,
you're
and I mean,
you're
in my
unlearning.
mind, I wasn't negging. I was more just.
First-
I don't know.
First of
Yeah,
all,
but
can I
it is,
ask
but
you-
You
it
mixed
is.
messages now, Gabe.
So can I ask you? So when you wanted to intentionally stop negging, did
Yes.
you actually would notice like, oh, I want to say that, but that's negging?
That's the point that I'm trying
Were
to
you
make.
that
Is that it's
self-aware?
not really like that. It's not that
It's
self-aware.
more second nature.
It's more just like a thing,
well,
and
'cause
maybe
I
you have this
backhand compliment
impulse.
too, but just for fun.
Impulse, but it is intentional. It might
Yes.
be something you do as a habit, so it's easy to do, but it sounds intentional.
I break everyone's balls, right? Like
Yeah,
that's sort
breaking
of my
balls
way,
is.
right?
I feel different though, because
What's-
because I feel like if a guy can handle banter and they can handle jabs, then I know that they're fun.
I agree
But
Right.
personally.
it's
but
not
yeah.
me trying to like get something from them or like to make me better than them. Like I want them to be able to handle that type of level. I want them to give it right back to me.
Yeah, but see that. I
Yeah.
think you can feel that when you're doing that
Yeah.
with somebody. Like
You
you're
can tell.
jabbing them and they're jabbing you back.
You can
But it
tell
sounds
it's
like-
not personal or it's
Right.
not like trying to get to you.
Right. Whereas nagging, it sounds like one person is doing these digs and the other person's just sitting back and taking it.
Yeah, and it's not like in a playful sense, or
Right.
it's
Yeah.
like so it's intentional, like little comments that are like,
And
not
I could
in
be
a flirty.
conflating that too.
Yeah,
you know
but
what I
I'm
mean?
just trying to think if
because
that's
it's
happened
not.
to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, because even when I was young, I didn't do probably what I think of as real negging. Like, that's really
You
stacking
make
up
you make a
deliberately.
girl not feel good about herself.
More like being insensitive
Right.
is maybe what I was
Yeah.
doing in the past,
And-
whereas negative.
well, same thing.
well,
and
negging's
you know
more
what?
intentional though,
Yes.
right?
Yes. And you know what? I'm in my 50s and Frankie's younger. So I'm probably less, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I've been through
Do you guys like the chase though? Like when you're dating someone new, do you like it when there's a chase and when there's some
Sure.
frustration? Does that keep it
Oh.
exciting or is it just frustrating?
I don't like frustration.
I don't.
I
yeah.
like the chase.
I like the mystery in that sense.
Yeah.
I think what I like, first personally for me, and this could be just my own issues, but like for me, I have to decide I like them before they come on too strong.
Oh.
You know what I
No,
mean?
I don't mind that.
Like-
and I guess I should say when I say I like the chase, I like them chasing me.
You like them chasing you, but I don't want them full chasing me unless I decide I like them, because like I get really like uncomfortable if they're giving me too much attention and I'm like, oh, I don't even know if you're cute yet. I guess
Okay.
This is
'Cause
like
I don't
watching
know
a
if you smell
documentary on
good.
narcissism.
I don't know if you smell good.
I'm totally joking.
Okay, now you're gonna neg
No,
us.
we all sound that way
Um,
when we talk about this shit because it is like we are all talking from our own point of view in this really like personal, like, well, I like when they do that. I want them to chase me, but not only if I like them. But you know what I mean? We're all
Chasing
psychos.
means, I guess, chasing to me means like building the momentum of pursuing the situation. I don't want to like where I'm like, oh, I don't like you, and they keep coming back.
Well,
Like
that's
I don't want that type of chase.
No, if they
Yeah.
don't like you, I hope you're cutting them off and just saying, hey, you know what?
Yeah.
I'm not feeling this.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah.
And
How
that's
can a
that.
guy be mysterious if he's available all the time?
Well, that's different. That's a guy with boundaries who doesn't like trauma dump on you the first date and who doesn't like tell you everything.
Well, I didn't say that.
But
I'm
like
saying,
that's somebody who's like too available, right? They just open themselves up to you from the get go, from the jump, and they just like keep opening up themselves to you like in full speed. Where you're like, listen, I don't even like know your middle name yet. Like, like slow down. Like that. I don't
I get
like
what you're
that
saying there,
full
for
on
sure.
pressure.
See, I kind of like, maybe not the first time,
Mm-hmm.
but after, if you've liked somebody and you've gone out with them a few times, I like it just
Yeah.
to know. Here's what I think. I think it's, and I heard this somewhere from this doctor, and I really like it because it's like, it's, you know, when you first meet someone, it's like, okay, what are you interested in? Are we interested in the same thing? And I think the better question is, what's your crazy? I think that's the better question, because let's just cut to the chase right now, because if your crazy isn't going to work with my crazy, then why? But like I said, I am very just like,
Oh, you know-
let's get going.
Oh, you know what?
Either we do it or we don't, and let's be done.
I heard this question that you should ask somebody to kind of see how they view you. And this could be somebody you've been like dating for a little. Golly. I know, right? Negging's so real.
I wonder if Colleen does the nagging.
Oh yeah, I wonder.
There's no
I wonder how.
doubt about it.
Yeah. I heard if you should ask this question. Like, say you've seen someone for a while, whatever. You should ask them, if I were to get arrested right now, if someone would come in and arrest me, what do you think the crime was that I did? And how they answer that silly question reveals like how they might view you. Like they might find some flaw of
Wait.
yours and exaggerate it.
How you answer them,
No, how they answer your question.
how they answer your question.
Like
is-
if you got arrested like the question you ask them is like, if I got arrested right now, if like,
Okay. So they could say, "Oh, I would think you stole cookies." And
yeah, then you're like, okay.
Then he thinks I'm a kid, something like that.
Well, I don't know about
Can
that
you
deep.
restate that real quick?
Yeah. So basically, this is a a theory I heard, but basically, if you ask a guy that you're seeing, whether it's a situationship or a relationship, whatever, if you ask them, if a cops were to come in here right now and arrest me, what would you think the crime is that I did?
Right.
And whatever the crime is, it could be something silly to something like, you're
I stole a car. I killed somebody.
you spamming,
Right.
I don't know, just something, whatever it is.
Right.
It reveals how they might really see you.
Right. So if they say, "Oh, I would think that you murdered someone," chances are they probably think you're mean.
Or
and
like,
scary.
oh, I don't think because you're so boring that like you should go to jail for that or something. Or like something ridiculous. Like they might really say how they feel about like your
Right.
personality.
Yeah.
Like whatever your personality is to them.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like a way to kind of see.
It's kind of a way to see what they're thinking about you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to
yeah.
hear him say that, like, oh, I think you'd be in charge of a CP ring or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, oh, God.
Or you're talking to
You gotta be ready
underage
for
women
that.
or something.
Well, then that tells you something about them too.
Yeah.
Yeah. But more about
You know?
me in that case.
Right.
What are you guys susceptible, because you brought up this just a little bit ago, are you guys susceptible to love bombers?
Oh God.
I am
what's
the
your
love
experience
bomber.
with
Just kidding.
I believe you.
I think that it's easy. I think that
done
everyone
it
can be
too.
susceptible to it if you don't really know what it is.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes too, if you're so into somebody, you don't realize it until, and also if you don't have a support system, then it becomes, well, usually if you don't have a support system, the love bombing isn't even necessary really. But,
Yeah.
But I think like, because if you really like somebody, I think
You're gonna love on 'em.
You're gonna love the love bombing until you realize, oh shit, where are all my friends?
Yeah, I don't
You know, like what
yeah.
happened?
No, there was this one, like, I don't think I really am, like, too much, like, I've never, like, been like, oh my God, because
You
I
isolate them?
well, I don't think I can be tamed. A guy can't love bomb me into submission. So, like, if there are attempts to, like, love bomb me, like, they soon, because this one guy, he, like, hit me up, and he's, like, talking all this, like, the alpha male stuff, right? And he was like, oh, basically kind of showing off he has money and trying to, like, he just, like, he really believes that, because like women are better than men, which is, fine, have that belief, whatever. But he thinks that since women are better than men, in a sense, like that they shouldn't have to work, or like, he should provide everything. So his ex-wife, yeah. So his ex-wife, he pays for everything still for his ex-wife.
Okay, he tells you that.
Yeah, he tells me that.
What does that? I mean, come on.
But then, like, yeah, so he started expressing some beliefs, and I was just listening, like, asking questions, like, I wasn't, like argumentative with him. I was just like, this is an interesting character. Because at this point, he had some really cool knowledge that I liked, that I was like, oh, he's, like, mentally stimulating me to, like, these other topics. So then I was like, okay, this is kind of different. Like, I kind of, like, this is weird. So I was asking questions, and then he was like, oh, you're liberal, aren't you? He's like, oh, okay, I have problems with women that are liberal. They're uncomfortable with my masculinity. Like, me wanting to take care of them, that it's always a problem. And so I was like, well, you can still take care of me. I don't care. But, like, I'm still going to have my freedom. So I think the contradiction of, like, me, like, I don't mind if a man wanted to give me money, but I'm going to have my own money, and I'm also going to be independent, too. So, like, that freedom of, like, you can support me, but I'm still going to live my life.
Yeah.
And is this Andrew Tate?
Was this man Andrew Tate?
No, I never, like, it was weird. He used to be on my Facebook, and I think he blocked me, but.
Anybody who's going to tell you that. I
Yeah.
mean, I still pay for my wife. I mean,
Yeah.
like, if you're, here's an alpha male, here's what a masculine guy is, that he does the right thing without having to tell anybody.
Yeah,
Without
like, not having to brag.
advertise. I mean,
Yeah.
the minute that happens, when I'm at my meet and greet, I'm done. I'm checked out. I'm just like, okay, let's move on. Because if you're such a great guy, why do you have to brag that to me?
Like how I'm a great father and an attentive lover, and how, like, I don't talk about that to anyone.
See, that makes you a masculine guy.
Yeah,
Gabe.
absolutely.
Way to go.
Oh, I'm about to air some dirt.
Ooh.
Because you made me think about bragging. And so, like, okay, so this guy, you know, whatever, we're friends and whatever, friends. And so he hit me up, and I was already out late for this show, and he was like, hey, you should come over and hang out with me. And I was like, okay, whatever. So I drive to his place downtown, and I have to park like a block away.
Okay.
And this type of guy always, like, because the reason I haven't really dated him, like, we just we yeah.
Okay. That's
But
right, Frankie.
I know. I was like, yeah.
You like it.
But the thing is like, we both wanted to try to date.
Okay.
But
got it.
we're so different fundamentally that we can't get past it. So then
Okay.
we just stop. But every time we stop and then we try to date, it doesn't work.
So you get over to his place.
We get over to his place, and he's always like trying to convince me that I should, like, he's pro woman or whatever. But he's like, I tell my sisters like it's one thing if you're creating your own income in your own life, and you're creating like you're pursuing your own passions and dreams. But why work for a man, like, you know, corporate life? And why work for a man when you can just find a rich man? Like, if you're not gonna pursue your passions, just date someone rich.
Right.
And he's always talking and bragging about his job, right? And bragging about all this stuff. And so I just assume has money. So when I showed up to his place and I parked kind of like far, and he usually has to walk and come get me because it's like late and then whatever. Well, he was too drunk apparently to come get me. And I was like, are you kidding me? I drove, like, I'm pissed off. And then so he's like, just Uber. I got it like that. Just Uber from this to this.
And his car didn't work.
So then, you know, so it's like, you know what? I'm getting in my car. If I can't find a parking spot, if I can't find a parking spot that is right there, then I'm just gonna go home.
Right.
Well, I see a parking spot. I park there. So then I go up there. We ended up talking, and we ended up getting in our whole round of circles things. It was just unproductive time, not very fun, whatever. And then the next morning, my car's towed, and I got a fine because I parked next to a school. So then I'm like, okay, cover it, pay for me.
And he did.
He couldn't.
Yeah.
He couldn't.
Yeah.
He's like, I have my own bills to pay. I can't. And I was like, you literally been bragging, like implying, like he never directly said I have money, but he was implying he did.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Now now, but he pitched in $50. But that was nice.
The bragging
Well,
thing. It's. I'll share a story.
Yeah.
We'll end it with this. Okay.
Yeah, let's hear it.
So I like this guy, right? So we actually went out for a couple months. And well, we had sex before, you know.
Yeah.
Like within the first week. And then one night we're like, you know, like in bed, and then he's like telling me that his wife and him did this, you know, this cosmopolitan quiz once, and his penis was bigger than the average man. And I'm just like, oh my God. And he goes, you know, I mean, I was like, and this is him talking. It's like, no, that's not true. So we went and got the tape measure.
Did you?
I'm just like,
Wait, did you have to get? Were you measuring soft or hard?
no, he and his wife.
Oh.
He and his wife, because he was like downplaying, like, no, that's not true. And so he's like, well, why don't we get the tape measure to measure me? And I'm just like, oh my God.
He's like, he measured himself. She wasn't involved.
Exactly.
And he
I'm
measures
just like,
from his asshole.
And I'm just like, really, guy? And I'm going to give this to him. He was pretty big.
Okay.
He was big. And I remember thinking, like, but like, why do you have to tell me that? And he goes, you know, because, you know, I hate to tell you, you know, so sometimes,
Oh my God.
he goes,
Well-
sometimes if it's a little uncomfortable, I am bigger than the average guy.
Was he girthy?
And girth matters. I always say to the,
Put that on the headline. Girth matters.
I always say to the
Got
men,
it.
I said, how do you guys measure yourself? Do you care that you're long, or do you care that you're fat and big, you know?
Yeah.
And
Well,
they
it's
always
just
care about how
spaghetti.
long it is. And I'm
I'm
like,
like, no.
trust me, the girls care about how wide you are in
Yeah.
girth.
Yeah.
But at any rate,
Because we'll drown you out if you're too skinny.
I was like, it doesn't help me how far in you can go
Yeah.
with skinny.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
anyways,
We don't like to be poked,
Can
guys.
can I share with you guys one
Not about your dick, no. Sorry, go
one
ahead.
I have a manipulative Tinder trick that I learned.
okay.
Oh,
And I want to know if you guys, I want to see if either of you have fallen victim to this, and it's really quick before we end here.
Okay.
So this is Gabe's Tinder tip of the day
Okay.
Oh,
from a
tip
guy who
to
gets
manipulate?
like almost no run on Tinder. But this was diabolical, I thought. So when you go through, you get rewinds, right? So let's say you're swiping, you see a girl who you really like, or a guy, whatever it is. You look at the song that they have as their anthem, then you rewind, change your anthem to match, and super like them. And
So
it's
you
bullshit,
at this
but
point you're paying for Tinder. That's too much.
So amateur.
What? Hold on,
Everybody
hold on.
knows
What do
this,
you mean
Gabe.
No,
Everyone
that's
knows
free.
it. To rewind?
Yeah.
To like
You can
go back
rewind
and
just
to use.
once. Just
Frankie's
like one rewind.
excited. She's like, seriously?
I can't. Well,
I thought it was diabolical.
maybe
I
it
was
used to
like,
be
ugh.
free. I don't think it is no more because like you can't shake it. You know, if you shake it, you could go back if you missed the match. Is that what you're talking about?
I didn't know that. No.
Oh, okay.
No,
never mind.
no, it's just the arrow that goes backwards that you can do once no matter what. So like if you miss, there's certain people that I've whatever
Okay,
like
Gabe,
super
have
like.
you done this? And does
Hell
it
no,
work?
hell no.
Okay, I'm
No,
just wondering.
but it rang really true to me. Like I can see how,
I think a lot of people do that.
because I put myself in the shoes of that, and I could see a girl who I would be on the line with, and then if I saw that, oh my God, she likes Tom Waits too, I would be like, oh, like I mean, I can see it tipping over the edge. So I just thought it was kind of diabolical. So I was curious if you guys had ever run into that, where you just notice like, oh, we have the exact same songs that we like.
Well, I actually it's not quite that, but what I do is I will put on my profile things that I really like that are kind of obscure to see if that
Of course.
person is even because you can always tell if they mention it or they like it on theirs, and then you ask a little more questions. If they don't, you can tell like, oh, you just change your things so that I
Yeah.
like you.
Yeah.
I never even thought of that.
Well, I think if I don't actively use the apps anymore, but if I were to update my bio, I would say, because me and my friend were talking about this last night, but I would say I'm looking for someone who's trainable, who wants me to spend their money.
Well,
On
that's
brand.
honest. That's honest.
Right?
So,
You want to be...
so we'll leave it at that. Colleen laughs. You know what? And there are guys who want that, and that's
Right?
okay.
Yeah.
Right?
You know?
But like that's a how you put your bio matters, what you
Yeah.
say, what you
It
do.
totally matters. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like it doesn't matter.
I'm
'cause
not
I
much for women,
I
but
think
it matters for men.
guys.
It
Like,
matters
I mean,
for men more.
If we had more time, I was going to ask you guys, because I feel like I'm attracting a type of woman. Like I'm seeing a type emerge, and it's not really what I'm looking for.
And okay. So Gabe, does that
Like the
make
really
you feel bad
arty-
about you?
No, no,
Okay.
it makes me feel like my profile is written poorly, or that I'm being too jokey, too obscure, like too
Okay.
challenging in a
Okay.
sense.
All right.
Oh, not too
And-
challenging.
And
Gabe.
that some people, why people,
There's no challenge.
No such
there.
thing.
Yeah.
that's because you guys are intelligent. But I'm saying most people
Yeah.
aren't, and I don't know.
Well, it's because you're dealing with bots,
Yeah.
Gabe.
Yeah,
you're
well, that's
dealing
for
with
sure.
bots on the. That's why you can't challenge, or that's why
Yeah.
they're.
Well, I'm not against fucking a bot.
Well,
AI,
Don't
baby.
judge. Yeah, exactly.
AI is coming up
Well-
to fix this Tinder problems.
leave it at that.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing we just all need to, like I always say, you just got to know your self-worth. Because there's nagging out there.
Yep.
There's people changing their anthem out there on you.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
just know what you want and
Don't
go
fall for the traps.
Yeah, that's right.
Or the thirst traps.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Have fun. Go out and date, and come back and tell us your stories.
Yeah.
Until next time. Bye.
See ya.
Bye.